just have Paula share whatever she feels. Maybe she can tell us a little bit about that again, and the power of one, and specifically how we can, go into this 90-day run and set ourselves up for success despite all the challenges that we have had. Hey, Paula.
Hi, Oliver. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.
Great. I love when a team is focused on making a 90-day run or a start like that, because that's really the key, in my opinion, to succeeding is, being consistent for a 90-day period and talking to as many people as you can for that 90 days. And, there's no secret to success in network marketing. Whoever talks to the most people wins. And, you're not a person that is going to be judged one way or the other. I mean, you talk to enough people, you can't really argue with the results, because what's going to happen is so many of those people are not going to be interested, and so many of those people are. And out of the ones that are, so many of those are going to get involved. And out of those, so many are going to do something. And, I can tell you from personal experience, having the wrong team, having people not doing anything and being really frustrated and trying to decide, what am I going to do about it? Well, I'm not going to make people want to succeed. I'm not going to drag people to the finish line. But what I am going to do is go out and build a new team. And when I went out to build a new team, it was better and stronger than ever. And it took me right to the top. So, the only thing I can really control is me. And the only thing I control about me is how many people I talk to. I have no control over how many of those people want to see the business. I have no control over how many see the business and want to get in. And I have no control over how many get in and do something. So, we spend so much of our time worrying about things we cannot control. At the end of the day, you just show the business, talk to people. Those that are going to do it well, those that won't. I mean, those that aren't going to do it, well, that's their choice. I can't worry about whether they did it or whether they didn't do it. And as soon as I released myself from the responsibility of other people doing things, once I released myself from the responsibility of other people's success, once I released myself from other people's decisions and just focused on what I could do, everything changed for me. I found that, I didn't let other people's commitments or activities or lack of activities control my everyday mood. I didn't let them bring me down. I didn't, I decided, when I first got into this kind of business, I thought I had no control. And then I realized I have all the control in the world. And that control is over myself, how many people I talk to. And my success in this business is based on my ability to turn off the noise, not let other people control my emotions, not let other people, determine if I'm going to succeed or not. I made that decision. And so I just, I put all that behind me and went out and talked to new people. And I kept talking to people. And there's always going to be some that tell you they're going to go to the top with you and then they disappear. But it's amazing is sometimes the ones that say nothing are the ones that go to the top. It's the ones that are kind of braggadocious and, are making all these claims that they're going to do this and how great they are, and they do nothing. And it's that silent person in the background who you've got to pay attention to, because it's easy to overlook them. And the next thing you know, they start rising to the top because they listen to everything you're saying, they watch everything you do, and they go out and do it. Quietly go out and do it. They don't make a big splash, they just do it. And the next thing you know, they rise through the ranks. And in my first business like this, that's exactly what happened to me. I got frustrated. I had one group and they thought they were the cat's meow, and they thought they were responsible for my success. So I just went out and built a whole new team. And the next thing you know, they're running over to me saying, "How did you do it? Help me. Can you help us?" And people let their egos get in the way, and and they let other people affect their emotions, and you can't do that. You have to stay on purpose. And so what I like about a 90-day run is you're not alone. You're running with other people. All you have to do is go out and do the things you promised yourself you would do, and just stick with it. And so I like that, because I know that when I'm out by myself, I know that there's a whole army with me. I just don't see them, but I know I've got an army with me, and they're doing the same thing, and it kind of keeps my mood up. It kind of keeps me going. But years ago, I started promoting something called the Power of One, and I did that even before I was in Jeunesse, and because I really believed that you can grow a business if you just focus on one person at a time. You might not think that's fast enough, but in reality, it is. When I first got into this kind of business, I didn't really understand geometrics. So my goal here today, I hope I'm a co-host. My goal here today is just to help you understand what geometrics is all about. Let me see if I can pull up some slides here. Can you make me, am I a co-host or not? Oh, share screen. Okay,
let me make you a co-host, Paula. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, I've made you co-host now.
Okay. I call it, I hope you can see it, I call it understanding geometrics. And, when I first got involved in this industry, I didn't really understand it myself, but I just had blind faith that it would work. And, it's interesting, once I understood geometrics here, then I started to understand how it worked in the financial world, how it works in savings and loans, how the banking industry works. Because I understood the geometric growth of money. You put in so much money, and then all of a sudden it grows multiple times, assuming that the economy's good. But this is something that we're all familiar with when we started Jeunesse, and that is, there's how your team grows is you sponsor one person on the left and one person on the right, and now you're an executive, and your goal is to help them become executives. So you teach them. The team on your left, you teach that one person to sponsor one on their left and one on their right. And then on your right person, you teach them how to sponsor one on their left and one on their right. So now you've got, you're an executive, plus you have an executive on your left and your executive on your right. And these are all crucial. Obviously, becoming an executive is getting one person on your right, one person on your left kind of turns the switch on as far as opening the commissions for you. But, obviously, this is really a common denominator, executive, because those new people on your second level, you want to help them become executive by getting one on their left and one on the right. And then you want to help those people get executive by one on their left and one on the right. But if you actually look at the team here, let's say that all you ever did was sponsor one person on your left and one person on your right. That would give you two people in your business. So you see that number 2 in the middle there on that column? That means you have 2 people on your first level. And if all you did was sponsor 2 and teach everyone else how to do the same thing, so that those 2 people did the same thing, there'd be 4 people on your second level. And if those 4 people did the same thing, there'd be 8 people on your third level. And if those 8 people just got 2, there'd be 16 people on your fourth level. And if they did the same thing, there'd be 32 on your 5th level and 64 on your 6th level. So you have a business here. In this particular example, you only sponsored 2, but you have a business of, let me see, 64, 20, 32, 16, 8, 4. You've got about 123 people in your business, and you've only sponsored 2. How does that work? Well, that's geometric growth. So what is the critical factor here? Well, the first is you setting the example of sponsoring two, but the second is teaching your other people to do the same thing. So teaching becomes a critical factor. Not only teaching your second level, your third level, your fourth level, but teaching all the way down. Teaching your people on your fifth level to sponsor two, so you end up with 64 on your sixth level. So, I'd like to say that this is a perfect scenario, and I'd like to say that building a business is like that, but it isn't. There'll be some people who will sponsor two. There'll be some people who sponsor no one. And then there's going to be some people who sponsor 10, 20, 30. So, it's never a perfect scenario like this. But if you can understand how this can multiply just by you setting the example and teaching it, it can be pretty incredible. So I thought to myself, well, this is how much I didn't understand geometrics. I thought, well, if you have 123 people in your business by sponsoring two, what if I sponsored four, or being you, or you being you, what if you sponsored four and taught them all to do the same thing? Well, then you double your business, right? Instead of 123, you would probably have somewhere around 250 people in your business, right? When in reality, you'd have over 5,000. That's how geometric growth works. In other words, you sponsor four and teach them to do the same thing. It's not double the factor, it's a multiple. It's a geometric multiple of what you're doing. So once I realized, my gosh, if I sponsored four and taught everyone else to do the same thing, I could have over 5,000 people in my business. Now, you can calculate this. If you have 5,000 people in your business and they're all buying one product a month, just for their auto ship or their smart delivery, 60 times 5,000 people, is a lot of volume. So when somebody says to me, how do you grow a business? Well, you set the example and then you teach this duplication all the way as deep as you can in your business. That's how you build a business like this. So when somebody said to me one time, Paula, how did you end up with 200,000 people in your business? I could honestly look at them and say, I have no idea. All I know is I sponsored this many, and I know people on my second level, my third level. I might know a few people on my fourth level, but after that, I hardly knew anyone. But I had over 200,000 people in my business. It was unbelievable, but that's how geometrics works. On a side note here, you also have an issue of the packets that people come in. This is a very simple example of a team A and a team B. The team A, they're coming in with, Supreme to Ambassador packs. They want to build a business. So, when you're building a business, you try to start substantial with, I started with an Ambassador pack because I wanted to try every product they had. I was serious about building a business. So I didn't want someone to come up to me and say, Paula, what does Reserve taste like? And then I say, oh, I don't know. I've never tried it. Are you kidding me? It's my business. I better have tried it. If somebody wants to know what Nara tastes like or what Revita Blue tastes like, I'm going to tell them not only what it tastes like, but how I feel when I'm on it. Well, I can't do that unless I'm trying all those. That's what's hard for me to understand is when somebody starts with just a handful of products, just a little small amount, how can they build a business and really legitimately talk about all these other products and share these other products if they've never experienced them? So this is an example of people on the team A coming in with substantial packets because they're serious about building a business. And then other people who are putting their toe in the water, just testing the water, getting a basic pack and seeing how it goes. Well, if that's, one of the things I learned is that your team will do what you do. People you sponsor will do what you do. When you sign them up and you talk about getting a packet of product, the first thing they're going to say is, well, where did you start? If you say, well, I started with a basic pack, then they're going to say, okay, I'll start with a basic pack. If you say, well, I started with an Ambassador pack, oh, okay, maybe I should start with an Ambassador. They're going to do what you do. So believe it or not, you set the example, and then that's a teaching moment that you continue to repeat throughout your business. When people are starting the business, you're telling everyone how you started, because this is a business of duplication. But when you look at what happens is team A, if you add all that up, that's 7,500 points, CV. You know, if you look at the other team, that's on the same number of people, and yet you only have 1,500 volume versus 7,500 volume. So, you know, when you're looking at cycles, you know, in this particular example, obviously this is your bigger team. So every time you cycle, it's going to take 600 points to do a cycle. Whereas on the other side, it's going to take only 300 points. Well, you know, you might be able to do as many as 12 cycles because of your team A, but because your team B only has 1,500, you're only going to be able to capitalize on 5 of those 12 cycles because they don't have enough volume. So, you know, this is something that's taught a lot here in North America. Is it's not only understanding the geometrics, but understanding how to start properly in your business so that you can build volume, so that you can start to make some money. And, you know, when you start to make money and then you can tell people I'm making money, then that motivates them to want to make money. You know, you're setting the example by how you start and how you teach people, and all the actions that you do is a teachable moment for people to learn and follow. So when I talk about the power of one, what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how you could build a massive business doing a minimal job at bringing in people. Let me show you an example. In this example, I took 12 months and I said, okay, what if you took inventory of your business? And let's say you had 6 distributors in your business. Say you sponsored 2, and each of those people sponsored 2. Well, there you are. There's 6 people in your business. Okay. And what if you encourage everyone to sponsor one person in an entire month? One person in an entire month. Now let's talk about that for a second. If you're full-time in a business and you have the whole day and you're working 8 hours a day, okay, 8 hours a day times what, 30 days is a lot of hours. I need to add that up. So 30 times 8, about 240 hours. Do you think if you were talking to people that you could probably sponsor one person? Do you think if you talked to a number, what if you were having a full-time job and you only devoted 2 hours a day to your business? In 30 days, that would be 60 hours. Do you think in 60 hours that you could talk to some people, and out of so many people if you talk to one person a day, just talk to one person a day, that would give you 30 people that you talk to. Do you think out of 30 people, you know, at least half of them are going to want to look at the business? 15? And out of 15, you think one would probably join? I think so. In fact, let's say you only gave your business 1 hour a day. That's 30 hours a month. What if you only gave them what if you only built your business a half an hour every day and you talked to one person? That, you know, you have to realize how minimal this is in effort for you to sponsor one person in a whole month. So, you know, we put the power of one together because we want to recognize people who sponsor one person a month. And, you know, sometimes they've never been recognized for anything. They've never been recognized at their job. They've never been recognized at school. And this might be the first time they've ever had people go, well done, good job, you know? And so we try to set that platform so people can get recognized. But if everybody sponsored one person in a month, that means the second month you'd have 12 people in your business. If everybody did the same thing the next month, you'd have 24 people in your business. And because I want to deal with a more calculable number, I said I wanted to add you to the mix. So you have 25 people, counting yourself, in the business. That means your 4th month, you'd have 50. Your 5th month, 100. 6th month, 200. 7th month, 400. All the way up to your 12th month, you'd have 12,800 people in your business. Could you imagine having a business today? This is February the 15th. Can you imagine by the middle of February next year, having almost 13,000 people in your business? You could change your life that dramatically. I did. I changed my life that dramatically and that fast. by being consistent, on focus, on purpose, to bring in at least one person a month. Well, what does that look like financially? Well, if you have 12,800 people, let's say that none of those people were allowed to use any product but one. They had to pick one product for smart delivery, and that was it. Now, I have to tell you, I use all the products. So I can't tell you which one. If I could only use one, I don't know what I'd pick because I love them all. But let's say they could only pick one product. This example does not take into consideration they might take 2 or 3 or 4. This does not take into consideration that they might sell some, or they might tell a neighbor or a relative. Let's just say they're only using the product for smart delivery, one product a month, 60 points. That's 768,000 points per month. Okay. If you look at having 2 lines, in order to do a cycle, you have to have 600 volume or points in one leg, and half of that, or 300, in the other. So in other words, 2/3 of the volume needs to be in one leg, and 1/3 of the volume needs to be in the other in order to cycle. So let's take the 768, put 2/3 of it in your left leg, 1/3 of it in your right leg. And right there, that's how your volume looks. So how many cycles is that? That's 853 cycles. That means you're going to be able to cycle every month 853 times. If you make $35 a cycle, that's almost $30,000 a month. What would you do with an extra $30,000 a month? Is that not amazing? I mean, this is about as minimal as you can get. You know, everybody sponsors one. But you know, I'm going to tell you, this is a perfect scenario. Like I said, some people sponsor one, some will sponsor none, some will sponsor 5, 10, 20. You know, you have no control over it. But let's say that I was that 90% of this equation is incorrect. That 90% of the example doesn't do anything, which is highly unlikely. Statistically, it would be impossible for 90% of them to do nothing. But let's say 90% did nothing. That would still give you almost $3,000 a month. So somewhere between $3,000 a month, which would be what, $36,000 a year, or somewhere around $360,000 a year. I mean, this would mean you would never have to work for anybody. You'd never have to have a boss telling you what to do. Yeah, you'd be able to be home for your kids' sports or activities or football, or if your kid was sick, you didn't have to ask permission. This means that if you wanted to go on holiday, you made the decision because you're the boss. This would mean that, you know, if you wanted to move to another location, another state, another country, another continent, you know, it's your choice. You don't have to ask permission. You don't have to find out if your company has business in that market so you can do a transfer. You're totally in charge of you. For the first time in your life, you're your own boss. You make the decisions. You want to go on holiday? You want to have a fantastic Christmas somewhere where it's snowing? You want to take your family to and pay for an entire family reunion? You can do it all, because see, you're in charge. No one is going to be telling you what to do, because you have created something called financial independence, which means you have decided that I am in charge of my life, and I am going to live the rest of my life on my terms. And that's exactly what this business, Jeunesse, can offer you. All you have to do is up front, you have to pay the price. You have to make the commitment that I'm going to be consistent. If it's 11 o'clock at night and I haven't talked to one person today, and I promised myself I would do it, then I need to pick up the phone and call somebody, get them out of bed, or maybe find them in another time zone where they're still awake. Or, you know, we used to have a joke here that, you know, we'd go to the convenience store and talk to the guy at the counter or the woman at the counter, something to stick with our promises that day that we do it. But nothing would make me happier than than to see a number of you become successful here. And all it really comes down to is you looking in the mirror and making a commitment to you that you're going to do such and such, talk to at least so many people per day, whether it's one, whether it's two, how fast you want to go. And I'm just grateful that you have this kind of leadership, that you have this kind of 90-day run commitment with other people that you can share, that you can run as a team, run together. Because I think that gives you extra momentum. There's a synergy that comes when there's multiple people versus all by yourself. You have to create your own momentum when you're by yourself. You have to create your own energy when you're by yourself. But when you're with other people, even if you have an accountability partner that you're running with, hopefully when you have a bad day, they don't. And they can get you going and get you out the door and get you talking to people. So I hope that helps. Oliver, I'm glad you're doing this. Nothing can make me happier than to see some of these people on this that I've seen their faces over and over again. But I want to see them making some serious money. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Paula. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. And guys, I did record it, so I'll upload the recording for those of you who have people in your team that couldn't make it tonight. And then Paula, will you be with us on Thursday? Just checking for a business preview.
I will. Yes, I will. Looking forward to it.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Awesome.
Right.
Okay, guys. Thank
Go.
you everyone for joining us. And just a reminder,